Alright, 12 Doctors, Russell. I'll talk
me.
about 12 Doctors because
go
you
ahead.
said from here to there. 12 Doctors is a game that I discovered on Board Game Geek because I was like, yeah, alright, Russell some more, that's helpful. Wanted to get you something for your birthday that you would totally never expect because you know it's going to be something game related because that's sort of like one of our big relationship nexus points, right? We're friends. Nexus points, you know. So, well, it ties into the game. What do you want? You know, I'm clever like that. So, yeah, so it really does, like, that's a connecting point for us, is game stuff. And so I was like, all right, so I'd like to get you some sort of game, something or other. And so you had said, oh, I like these Doctor Who games, this Doctor Who game, that Doctor Who game. And I did my research, and I was like, okay, this one's mostly, what, Series 5 of the new Go trivia? Like, it's just that one season. It's, you know, this one's more or less memory with a little hiccup, you know. That one's Monopoly, and they're all fine games, and I'm sure they would be fine for what they are, but none of them seem to really embody what, at least, you know, the new Doctor Who series has been about for, you know, like, how many years now? And really jumping in with both feet, you know, me into Doctor Who got me way more on top of things in terms of being critical of these games, you know. So I was like digging around, looking on, and you know what's funny is I had seen it on the list because Board Game Geek has that, like you can just look up Doctor Who and it'll have everything listed out, and it's in terms of like the ranking, it's like number 2, right? Number 1 or 2 or 3, somewhere at the top of the little list there, and I had seen it and I was like, you know, homemade games or, you know, print and play, I'm real down on generally just because, you know, from my growing up, if you didn't spend a lot of money on it, it probably wasn't worth very much. You know, it probably wasn't that great because you get what you pay for. Except that that doesn't hold true for a lot of stuff. And so with this game, you know, it's done through like a couple of fans that were just like really on top of shit. Went through, talk about a labor of love, just because they wanted something amazing, and then they shared it with people. One thing that's said on the little article about it, that the guy who came up with sort of the, you know, whatnot, mechanics, you know, picking out the characters and the places and all this stuff, right? When he sort of put it all together, but not the version 2 artwork. He said, you know, this isn't my property, copyright, you know, the intellectual property belongs to someone else, but I think it's generally enhancing the experience of Doctor Who property, you know, Doctor Who universe. And I'm gonna say for myself, that's 100% true. It enhances my experience because I feel like even when I'm not watching the show, I can somehow get a Doctor fix, you know?
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
That'll be my first words in this entire thing.
Perfect.
I agree.
20 minutes later, I agree with Eddie. You know what? I'm just going to excerpt that and put it down as my text tone from you. Okay. I agree with Eddie. Done. I wish more people did. Yeah, so it's great. He had the files put up through a, Shutterfly. I think the one he used was called ArtsCow. It's basically one of those that goes through Hong Kong, you know, printing, you know, everything overseas, and it's cheap as fuck, and shockingly high quality.
Yeah, it's a very nice game. I was very surprised when I had received it from you because I had never heard of it.
Yeah, that's the whole point.
And I had only started using Board Game Geek maybe 2 or 3 days before my birthday. So it's not like I would have had a lot of time to look around and see, oh, this is something that's really cool and has a lot of potential.
Right.
And you talked about the Doctor Who games that I had mentioned before. And I was really just looking for anything Doctor Who at that point.
Right.
Because I'm totally into Doctor Who. I had gotten into it over the summer, really. I had started watching the whole thing, and it was just a fantastic show. It was a good ride to go on, and I was just ready for something that I could be a part of.
Right.
Which
You said they finally started putting it on Amazon. That was one of the reasons you texted me. It was like, usually these aren't available here on Amazon.
yeah, and it was just like, these games probably aren't the best, but it would be nice to have something Doctor Who related that I could just
Better than nothing.
play. Yeah, better than nothing. And then you come along with on my birthday, and you're like, you don't got it yet, so keep on waiting. And I was like, okay, what is this going to
Right,
be?
you love waiting.
I hate waiting. I am very impatient, as you know. And the wait was worth it. It was definitely worth it. Doctor Who, 12 Doctors has to be one of my favorite games to play. I'm sad that it's only 2-player because there's not very many circumstances when there's only 2 of us when we're playing games.
Right.
So I wish there was more opportunity for me to get it onto the table, but when it is, it's amazing. I love this game to death. They did an amazing job with it. It's cool to see all the characters from past and present, and I've had ideas for cards that I thought should be in the game that I've wanted to talk to you about, but you haven't caught up with the next season yet.
I know, I still gotta
so
do it.
I can't talk to you about it, which makes me very angry.
Well, that's super fair. Talk about waiting.
But I love this game to death.
I think it's 100% worth the money, and I think any Doctor Who fan, would enjoy the crap out of it.
Hell, even people who aren't into Doctor Who, it's a great game by itself. You could probably retheme it and use the mechanics over again, and it would be able to stand up with a different theme too.
Yeah.
But it's a great game with a great theme, and it is just amazing. I wish you could see my hand gestures because I'm gesturing a lot because I am so enthusiastic about this game.
You're going to have to put the link to where it can be found.
Yes.
I believe version 1, the original, is available just to print yourself. So you can just print it for free.
Yeah.
It's worth the cards, though. Worth a little money for the cards, I think.
Yeah, the cards are very nice. I just seen the other day, and I linked you to this morning.
Saw that. I really like that.
The box that somebody had made, and he put the file for it on Board Game Geek.
Oh, good.
So I'll link that as well in the review.
Great.
Because
that way you can print and cut and fold.
Yeah, I think he said he laminated it and then pasted it and like sanded it, so it's like really nice.
Yeah, nice.
This nice little TARDIS box that you can just slip your cards in, and it even has room for all of the current expansions and the tokens that can be made. And I feel bad for the people that use the normal tokens because Eddie made special tokens for me, and that's fantastic.
I think that's such an easy thing that anybody, I think at some point, when you get into board games, you cross a line into, customization and, getting pickly about things where, like, for me, I'm like, this isn't good enough, or I'd like to do better, what, and I can, because who cares? Hell's bells to anyone who says I can't, make the game what I want, or play the way I want, like, why can't I? And the tokens for 12 Doctors is a super, super simple way of just, doing it your way, saying, okay, so find some cute pictures online. You could totally do the Doctor tokens, each a different companion, and then the flip side for the Master, you could do, different enemies. Whatever, doesn't matter. But, I think it's good. So do you have anything else to say about 12 Doctors?
Probably, but I'll probably get to say it in the review.
I'm sure that you will. Perfect. And I'm going to showcase